Hi, I'm Catalina. I'm a certified personal trainer and I have a master's degree in psychology. I help people form structure around their health, fitness, and self-care. These shorter videos are going to give updates on client progress, talk about any fitness or health challenges that I have going on, and talk about the basics of nutrition. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe so you don't miss out on videos when I post. Adios. Well, hi there. Happy Saturday morning. I want to do a client spotlight today on an amazing woman named Stacie. Now, Stacie's case is incredibly unique, and what I think this is going to turn into is not just an update on her progress in the last month and a half, almost 2 months that we've been working together, but also highlighting a unique niche that I was able to kind of see developing for the work that I was able to do with her. So her story, needless to say, is, again, very unique. And to be honest, the word is gruesome. And let me tell you why. I worked with Stacie before her injury, and she injured herself in such a way that required massive reconstructive surgery on her ankle. She contacted me afterwards, and after she healed and did her rehab and PT, and that's when we started working. So, Stacie is an outdoor girl to the max. She does rappelling, she does canyoneering, she does climbing. And she was up with a group of friends doing a route that she's done a number of different times. She had a choice in this particular canyon to rappel in or to jump into a pool of water that was about 15 by 15, surrounded by sheer rocks. She's done this, like I said, a couple of different times. She threw her bag down and she jumped too quickly. She didn't gauge where she was. There was a lot of action and kind of peer pressure going on behind her, and she jumped incorrectly. And she landed on one of the rocks with her ankle. She broke her ankle, both the tibia and fibia, and her ankle turned inward, and she was able to see the bottom of her foot. She blacked out when she hit the water. They had to pull her out of the water, and they were 3.5 hours away from any help. So I'm going to show a couple of different pictures that I'll put in alongside this as well. She and her group had to get her out of there. They didn't have enough of a cell signal to get helivac'd out, and over 3.5 hours, no painkillers, and the trauma of that broken foot, she had to get herself out of there. Shimmying along, sometimes crawling, sometimes scooting on her butt. So they were able to get her out of there. She's self-insured because she owns her own landscaping business. She doesn't really have conventional insurance. And so, you know how that kind of thing goes in our country. She had to start at urgent care, even though knowing that this was a horrific, gruesome injury. So she didn't get the help that she needed right away. Monday comes around, she's able to get to an orthopedic surgeon. They push her through emergency surgery. They put a plate in her ankle to stabilize it. So the plate in her ankle with the emergency surgery stabilizes everything, and that starts her physical healing process. Of course, she can't work at this time. She's a landscaper, and she's paying for everything pretty much out of pocket. And this starts, again, rehab, physical therapy, and everything to help get her to walk. Now, what's interesting is through that process, through the rehab, through the physical therapy, the surgeon and everybody agrees that her foot is healing just fine. She's moving along the process as she should, and everything's going according to plan. But by the time she makes her way over to me and I become part of her team, she still can't walk. And at that point, it had been weeks and weeks and weeks. I believe it had been 3 months, almost 4 months since her injury. And according to all the professionals, she should have been walking at that point. She should have been walking at that point, according to all the professionals that were looking at her physical body. Once we sat down and started working together, what I saw happening immediately, based on my background in trauma work, was that she was having panic attacks. As soon as she would try to start putting weight on her foot, her mind would take her right back to her injury, to the trauma of her injury. She would have panic attacks. And so, yes, we would do a little physical work. Yes, we would do a little upper body work and core work, trying to get the rest of her body back into shape. But the work that we've done together over the last month and a half has been all trauma work. We've been desensitizing her trauma responses. We've been doing grounding work. We've been validating her trauma response because, yeah, that was a gruesome injury. And she had every right to feel the way that she felt and the trauma that she felt. And so 6 weeks ago, much to the chagrin of her physical team and certainly her surgeon, the slice and dicer, who was flabbergasted that she was still on crutches, she came into Snap Fitness on 2 crutches. Late last week, she's walking without any assistance. No cane, no crutches, she's walking. And I get teared up thinking about it. Sorry, I'm not gonna edit this. I get teared up thinking about it because watching her go through that was one of the most fulfilling things that I've ever done as a professional and as a person, because she worked so hard to fight through those mental blocks and challenge herself, not just through the physical, but through the mental. And being part of that was so freaking cool. And I'm so damn proud of her. So, I learned so much through this process of working with Stacie. Of course, you're not always just treating a physical body. There's so much more that goes into that. The connectivity between the mental and the physical is huge. And I've always known that, but to see it so clearly with a person who means a lot to me was amazing. Secondly, things don't always go the way that you think it should. According to her physical team, she should have been walking already, but she wasn't ready. And once we kind of slowed that expectation down and gave her permission to process everything that she had been through, her body caught up with her mind caught up with her body, and once she got on the same page, she started progressing so much more quickly. And that was really cool. Hold on one second, don't let the doggy in. Hi, puppy. And lastly, what I learned is I loved being part of this team, and I loved going through this process with her, and I want to be part of a trauma-informed team. I almost feel like my years of my previous job working with trauma survivors, my master's degree in psychology, and then of course my current position and the work that I do with personal training and just being part of the great team at Snap Fitness all came together, and it all came to this. And so I kind of felt like a second, I guess in this case, a third calling come into my life. And I want to pursue that. I want to be a trauma-informed personal trainer. I want to be able to work with people who have trauma in their background, chronic health conditions, mental illness, and be able to help them push through whatever that looks like for them and how it expresses in their lives, and use a combination of mental health treatment and personal training to help them heal past where they are now. And I am so grateful to Stacie for giving me that opportunity. Now, where I made a huge mistake is we didn't document nearly enough of her process during the last 6 weeks, mainly because it felt really personal and really private. But she's not that kind of person either. She would have been glad to share this journey. So these last few still shots are the current work that we did yesterday of suitcase carry, challenging her balance and challenging her core while she's walking. So the progress she's made is just unbelievable. I'm so darn proud of her, and I'm grateful to be part of her team. So this client spotlight goes out to Stacie. I'm gonna cry again. I'm so proud of you. Great work. And thank you. Thank you so much for opening my eyes and being open to the kind of method that I brought to your team, because I know it was different than what everybody else was doing. And you challenged yourself, and I'm so happy that you're seeing results. Alrighty guys, that's what I've got for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And don't forget, you've got a lot of control over the little things. Let go of the things that you can't control. Tomorrow is always a new day. Thank you so much for being here. I'm proud of you.